Welcome, friends, to another inspiring journey here on the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the heart of charming green and rustic DIYs, a perfect blend of budget-friendly creativity and cozy vintage farmhouse style. Whether you're drawn to the calming tones of mossy greens, the warmth of aged wood, or the joy of turning forgotten pieces into stunning treasures, this video will be your ultimate guide. Over the next hour, I'll walk you through unique upcycling projects that bring together rustic textures, botanical tones, and vintage elegance, all without straining your budget. These aren't just craft projects, they're thoughtful transformations. We'll explore how to give everyday items a story, infuse them with personality, and make your home feel like a sanctuary rooted in history and warmth. And don't worry, you don't need a workshop full of tools or a massive budget to get these looks. Just a little time, patience, and a willingness to see beauty where others see the discard pile. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a decorating idea that could transform your space. Give this video a thumbs up if you love the rustic meets green aesthetic, and comment below to let me know which project inspires you most. Your support keeps this community creative and thriving, and I can't wait to see what you'll make. When you're aiming for a green and rustic farmhouse vibe, your color palette is the foundation. The greens we're talking about here aren't the bright neons of modern minimalism. We're embracing the muted, earthy tones that feel like they've been lifted straight from a meadow or a weathered countryside garden. Think sage, olive, eucalyptus, and moss. These shades work beautifully with raw wood, distressed finishes, and vintage metals. Start by considering where these greens will live in your home. On walls, they create a serene backdrop. On furniture, they add a grounded richness. In small decorative accents, they act as visual, breathing spaces that draw the eye. One trick I love is layering tones. For example, pairing a sage green cabinet with darker forest green accessories. This adds depth while keeping the palette cohesive. We'll also talk about how to source these greens affordably, from budget-friendly paint brands to second-hand finds you can refresh with a quick coat. Keep in mind that the right green, paired with rustic textures, instantly brings a sense of calm and timelessness to your space. As we move forward, remember, every great upcycled farmhouse piece begins with a thoughtful color choice. Rustic upcycling is less about perfection and more about storytelling. Every worn corner, every faded layer of paint, and every dent in a metal handle tells a story about where that object has been. The joy comes in adding your own chapter to that story. When sourcing items, think beyond the obvious. Old ladders become blanket racks, wooden crates transform into rustic shelving, and vintage mason jars can become beautiful hanging planters. Estate sales, thrift stores, flea markets, and even your own garage are treasure troves if you know how to look. The key is to see potential where others might see trash. When I look at a chipped chair, I don't see something ready for the landfill. I see a chance to strip it down, repaint it in a soft olive tone, and give it a new life as a hallway accent. The beauty of rustic upcycling is that it rewards creativity over cash. You don't need a lot of money, but you do need vision. And that's exactly what we'll develop together in this video. Texture is where your rustic decor really comes alive. In a green and rustic farmhouse setting, mixing textures is essential for creating warmth and visual interest. Think weathered barn wood against soft linen curtains, galvanized metal next to leafy greenery, and jute rugs under painted vintage furniture. One of my favorite techniques is contrast layering, pairing a rough, distressed surface with something smooth and refined. For example, place a perfectly polished ceramic vase on a reclaimed wood shelf, or drape a chunky knitted throw over a sleek leather armchair. This mix makes your space feel lived in but still intentional. When upcycling, don't be afraid to preserve some imperfections. The scratches in an old wooden door or the tarnish on a brass handle are not flaws, they are character. If you strip them away completely, you risk losing the soul of the piece. Instead, sand just enough to make it safe and stable, then seal it to preserve its history. In rustic design, imperfection is authenticity. For our first DIY, we're transforming a plain, second-hand wooden shelf into a green farmhouse statement piece. I found mine at a thrift store for under $10. It was dull, stained, and unloved, but the bones were strong. the process. One, clean and prep. Use a gentle cleaner to remove grime, then lightly sand the surface to give the paint something to grip. 2. Prime, optional. If the wood has heavy stains, apply a primer. Three. Paint. Use a chalk-style sage or olive paint for a rustic matte finish. Distress. Once dry, gently sand edges and corners to reveal bits of the wood beneath. Seal. A clear matte sealer will protect the paint while keeping that farmhouse feel. Once finished, style the shelf with small potted plants, vintage books, and a few brass candlesticks. This project costs less than $20 but looks like it came straight from a high-end decor shop. This project is so simple, yet so impactful. All you need are old mason jars, green paint, twine, and your choice of indoor plants. Steps. 1. Paint. Lightly coat the outside of each jar with chalk paint in shades of eucalyptus or moss. 2. Distress. Use sandpaper to rub off small areas for a weathered look. 3. Wrap. Tie twine or jute rope around the rim for a rustic finish. For plant, add soil and small herbs or succulents. beautiful on windowsills, shelves, or as centerpieces on your dining table. They add an instant burst of life and are the perfect way to weave in the green aspect of your decor both literally and stylistically. An old wooden ladder, even if it's splintered or paint splattered, can become a stunning display piece. Simply sand it down, paint it in a soft green, and lean it against a wall. Hang blankets, baskets, or even small potted plants from its rungs. This is one of those transformations where you spend almost nothing but get a piece that draws compliments from every guest. Plus, it's endlessly versatile. You can restyle it seasonally with flowers, holiday lights, or greenery garlands. Once your upcycled pieces are ready, it's time to style your space. This is where you can mix vintage finds, natural textures, and botanical accents to make your home feel inviting and uniquely yours. Scatter greenery in unexpected spots, a fern on a kitchen counter, eucalyptus stems in a vintage pitcher, or ivy trailing from a high shelf. Use textiles like linen table runners, burlap placemats, and soft cotton throws to add warmth. And remember, the secret to rustic charm is restraint. Let your statement pieces breathe instead of overcrowding them. And there you have it, a complete journey from forgotten items to cherished farmhouse treasures. We've explored how color, texture, and creativity can turn thrift store finds into charming green and rustic statement pieces. By embracing imperfections, layering textures, and letting nature's palette guide you, you can create a space that feels warm, lived in, and utterly unique. Remember, you don't need to spend a fortune to make your home beautiful. All it takes is a little vision, some creativity, and the willingness to try something new. If today's projects inspired you, please subscribe to the channel, tap the bell so you never miss a new DIY, and give this video a like to let me know you want more budget-friendly farmhouse transformations. Drop a comment sharing which project you're most excited to try. I love hearing your ideas and seeing your results. Now, go forth and create something wonderful. Your next rustic treasure might just be waiting for you at the thrift store, the flea market, or even your own attic.